Red Rover. Send Mohazel and Ms.Glam right over. Hello, world.
Did we revert back to middle school?
Hello. Yeah, we did. How about that?
Hello is how I sound. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you can see, that was Ms.Glam, and I am Mohazel, and we are badass besties.
Officially so.
Legit badass besties. So, how are you doing?
I am awesome.
Really? Why are you awesome? Because you're so chipper today. I'm just curious on why you're chipper today.
Honey golden peach.
That was the stuff. Listen, that should be our weekly delight. We should just scratch the weekly delight and make a unison weekly delight.
Honey
this was good.
golden
I'll give you that.
peach. I gotta go find some more of that.
Yeah, I like that. That actually is better than mimosas. That top
mimosas.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Fave.
I'll give you that.
My new fave.
All right, are we ready to get into this weekly delight?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, it's where you take a person, place, a thing. Honey peach Stella Rose.
Honey golden peach.
Honey golden.
Honey
peach.
Golden. Gotta say that
Stella
golden.
Rose.
It's golden.
Golden. If you're living your life like it's golden, then you must be having an awesome weekly delight. So with that being said, Ms.Glam, the floor is yours.
Before I get my weekly light, Stella Rose, we need some ads.
Bruh, for real. Like,
yeah.
we will like light you up, hashtag ads in the middle and the beginning of the show.
There you go.
We got you on deck.
Okay, but my weekly delight.
Mm-hmm.
My weekly delight.
This better be good after all this. What's up?
No more quarantine hair.
Oh, boy.
I'm back, bitches. Blonde and fabulous
You
and
act like
straight.
they saw you the first time.
That's beside the point.
But no, you look good. I like the blonde. I do.
Yes.
I don't know if I like the personality that comes with it, but I love the blonde. No, you looks good. It looks really, really pretty on you.
I'm excited. My hairstylist is back open, so it's here to stay, bitches. Here to stay.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
No, it's a good question.
I'm just messing with you.
I know. What geeked you out more? The getting ready to go get your hair done or the after? Because I feel like both were strong.
Honestly, like, because it's been a while, so, you know, and everybody know your hairstylist. So
Sure.
Catching up was like, damn, when was the last time I saw you? And then the aftermath,
Mm-hmm.
the swinging of the hair.
Oh, the extraness that ensues once the chair is turned and you're revealed in front of the mirror.
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
Awesome.
So the aftermath was way
aftermath.
better.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Well, it looks good on you, darling.
Thank
Looks good.
you.
Yeah, I like the blonde. It's even a little bit more than I think than last time, right?
Yeah.
Or it's frosted different, but it looks
been-
good. It looks a little different, but it looks good.
Well, yeah, because it's been over a year since I had it highlighted. We missed
Maybe.
last year. I can't remember why we missed. Oh, because she wasn't here.
It just looks brighter, but it looks good.
Yeah, she wasn't here.
I like it.
And then I think because I highlighted after the red. Remember, I was red, then I highlighted,
were.
so it didn't get as bright.
I got you. Well, it looks good.
Now it was lighter.
So do
and
I
it
call
got
you
brighter.
Blondie?
No.
Okay. Still Ms.Glam?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm blonde, bitches.
Oh, Lord. In that order. So when you see the Facebook and Instagram, it's going to be blonde bitches. Oh, well, I have a weekly delight, but it's not hair. I think it's awesome. My weekly delight is my patio.
Oh, that is a good weekly delight.
Listen.
I will co-sign.
I have been waiting how long? Quite a long time.
yeah.
Like some months, right?
yeah.
They told me weeks. It turned into it felt like a 2 to 3 month project, but that's all right. It was worth the wait.
She sat out there
every
while it was
night.
storming.
Almost.
It's
I
like-
Sure did.
It was storming, lightning and thundering, and
It wasn't-
raining cats and
it
dogs.
wasn't-
And she was sitting out there.
It wasn't quite like that, but
It was. I was on the phone.
I know.
On FaceTime.
I know.
So I know it was.
It wasn't that bad.
It really was.
It wasn't.
She was
It
trying to get electrocuted,
beautiful.
y'all.
It was so beautiful.
It was not beautiful.
It was
but
beautiful.
I understand
have been
the
sitting
sentiment.
out there, and let me tell you. So I screened in my patio. So I've had this nice patio, but I live where you got all these tree lines and it feels like woods in regard to you get the mosquitoes and all that. And we live in Florida. So I want to enjoy my patio. So I screened it in and I wanted it to feel like a room so that way I can enjoy it. So I decided to theme it because tech support is Mexican and I got African. So I decided to do this motif of mixing the two cultures on the patio. So it's got a little bit of Moroccan lamps and, African mask. And it's got like these colors and themes and flowers that you would see in Mexico. So it's a nice little blend of both of our cultures. And I have been trying to sit out there and enjoying the sun going down, eating lunch out there and just vibing. And yes, Ms.Glam, sitting outside when it's raining cats and dogs because I'm not getting wet.
Whatever.
It's beautiful. That's my weekly delight.
I will co-sign though.
Thank you. We're winning.
Yes.
We're winning today.
Miracles
Equal.
do happen.
All right. We call it tie, right? Tie,
Yes.
tie. All right. Ms.Glam, you ready to get into the topic?
I am.
All right. This one's called Blessings Learned. Repeat.
I like learning.
Right? And so pretty much
Take that back. No, I don't. I don't want to learn no lessons.
Why?
No.
I mean, if there's good lessons.
No.
No. You too old. We too old. We too old. Yeah. Listen.
At this point, I think I
ride into the sunset with what you know.
Don't give me no more lessons. Just give me the blessings.
Girl, you know what? Write that down. That's a t-shirt. If you would like one, it'll be available at badassbesties.com. Oh, that's a good one. I like that phrase. Look at that. Gems at the top of the key. But yeah, so blessings learned. Me and you kind of came up with this topic because we've been in each other's lives for 20 years, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen each other
20 is deep.
And we've seen each other be teenagers to young adults to grown ass women, right?
Who are still young.
Oh, no, I didn't say.
At least
I didn't say.
One of us is still
ass
young.
women. I said young.
Grown ass.
Grown is different. Grown is not old. Listen.
Hey, I don't disagree. Disagree.
Grown is on the good end.
Grown means you handle your shit. I'm just emphasizing that one of us, me, is also very young.
We the same age.
No.
Yes,
we really are not.
Yes, we are.
You're older.
By months, but we're technically, if someone asked your age today, it is the same age.
No, it's not. If someone asked the age today,
no,
you were older.
No.
What you say is you are blah. What
I don't say
I just turned blah.
I don't say I'm this many years old, but I was born in this month. Don't nobody do that.
You say I'm this old.
Same year.
And I say I just turned.
You know what? Then treat me like the older one. Respect.
No, I'll pass on that.
You see what I'm saying? So if you're going to treat me the same, then treat me you can't do it. You either respect and treat me as the older one, or we the same, equal, and we the same age. You can't have it both ways, darling. Pick your poison. I'll let you think about it. We'll come back at the end of the show.
No, because tech support. Ain't no respect given there. And see, he old.
You do tech support dirty. He just here so he don't get fined.
Over the hill.
This
40
season
down.
This season, tech support said, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." But low key, I'm looking for another job.
That's okay. We gotta trade him in for Yucca model anyway.
Tech support one day gonna be like, "Yeah, I got 30 days. I'm giving y'all 30 days notice." Well, hey, tech support. Tech support. Wait, real question: 30 days or 2 weeks? How much notice would you give us?
Just remind.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Okay, if we don't have anybody, like I'm gonna solicit, Mohazel to withhold other perks.
You just ain't gonna get your bonus, is what she's saying.
While we looking for a replacement, since she's gonna be so stressed. You gonna rethink that 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Savage.
That's why we need a hipper model anyway.
Hey, back to the topic.
Bessie's trying to be hip and new. We can't be having no 40
back to the
plus.
topic. So we came up with this topic. We love you, tech support. Just so you know.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I love tech support. You like Frederick.
I do.
See, there you go.
Yes.
There you go. We came up with this topic because we've seen each other go through the years, whether it's careers, just opportunities, just us growing into our womanhood. And we've learned a lot along the way. And now that we are grown, we like to reflect on some of those blessings that were blocked and what we learned from them, and blessings that we took and we're grateful for. Like, we're trying to be reflective. Now, this show is starting off to seem like we're going to be petty, but it might be some good gems. What you think? I think so. Why are you looking at me like that?
But you always petty.
I learn from the best.
Yeah.
So, blessings learned. So the first question I wanted to ask is, was there ever a time that you realized a blessing was blocked and what you learned from it, and what was the thought process of what you reflect on it now about it?
I don't know if I remember my very first time, but like...
Or a pivotal one.
Maybe when I didn't get a job that I wanted, maybe a pivotal one, in that I thought that's what I needed, but not getting it allowed me to prepare and be where I needed to be to align for bigger and better. And I didn't realize that.
Okay.
Over the course of my life, I try to keep that in mind of things that I necessarily want, or, you know, this will be great. Not getting it, maybe even better. So I have to keep that in my head when things I feel like are passing me by, of going, that just means something greater is out there.
Okay.
And because I've been blessed enough to see that time and time again, it is easier in my 30s when I feel like something is passing me by to say, well, that just means something better is coming. I can do that better now than I could do in my 20s.
Now, let me ask you, when you first experienced it, and of course you didn't know that greater was on the other side, how did that feel? And then, so tell me what that felt like. And then now that you know what it feels like, what's the difference in the feeling now? Like, did your body change in the reaction to it?
Obviously disappointed, you know, trying to analyze what I did wrong and obviously grow and learn from it, you know, obviously. And I think I still try to do that now, but it's more of I'm not going to say I'm not disappointed in that the plan in my head didn't come to fruition.
Sure.
It's more of if it was for me, it would have been mine. So that just means I have something great on the horizon, and just continue to do what I do, giving my 100%. Always something is great on the other side. I'm just waiting for it.
Yeah.
It just changes your perspective in things, that it's hard to be in a funk and be, oh, woe is me, when why am I wasting time, you know, wallowing when I can get to the other side?
Right.
Because I think that's part of it, is I feel like I wasted time in my 20s going,
isn't it a lot more relaxing in your 30s?
Yeah.
It's so much more. Not that we don't stress, but it's just a different kind of, and it's never for long.
Correct.
Hit it, get over it, and then we're back to being peaceful.
And then I think, too, if I do forget, I have a good circle. Shout out to Mohazel. That is one to...
Okay, that's fine. Okay, go.
I take it back.
I know. I realized after I did the second I was going in too hard. I'm sorry. I take it back.
Who, you know, reminds me of, do you remember this? Do you remember this? Do you remember this? You thought this, but then this happened. You thought this, and then look what happened 2 months later. Or like, who reminds me of, look at all the blessings that came from quote unquote closed doors.
I'm glad you said that, because sometimes I always wonder when I say that to like you or people, like I'm trying to be positive, because sometimes people are like, I don't want to be positive right now. Just let me be, right? And so I always wonder, like, am I truly helping them? So I'm glad to hear that. Not trying to be funny and toot a horn. I'm just like real talk. I wanted to know that, because the goal is to make the person feel better and remind them, like, right now, you know, you're in the middle of it. Your mind is all over the place, but let me be that steady anchor and say, hey, don't forget, bring it back to center. It's okay. It's all good. Yeah. And I just want to make sure it was received that way. So that's good. I know for me, I used to be in my feelings, and I don't know how long I'd be in my feelings, but I think I was okay with getting over it. I just wouldn't forget, which I guess is one and the same. But I used to get upset when I would watch people block my blessings. That used to irk me in my 20s. Like, why is this person blocking my blessing? And I had to realize, and it would make me, so, and to go, before I go to the future, the feeling I would get would feel like I was sick to my stomach. Like, I would literally feel pain in my stomach because the stress was now a physical feeling. I'm learning in my 30s, I have to be reminded, even if people are blocking your blessings, no one's greater than the God above, and nobody's greater than the universe and what is destined for you. Yep. So they were there on purpose, and they didn't block anything. It's just, a part of the process to
Yep.
get to where you need to be.
Yep.
And I had to learn that I need to be thankful for those people because maybe that person is making me go harder, which is required to get to that next step, to get to that blessing, right?
If you had siblings, you'd learn that lesson at a
Girl,
very
I did not.
early age.
I did not have siblings, and I had cousins, but I wasn't around them all the time. So I learned this a little later in life. I'm a
siblings
slow
will-
learner, a
siblings
late
will
learner,
throw
a
you
late
under
learner.
the
I
bus.
wasn't a slow learner. I was a late learner.
You'd be trying to do something and your siblings be like, but they didn't do this. Now you got an ass whooping. See?
You're saying I should have knew this by 16?
You should have,
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. And I would really be in my feelings over people. I'm like, why? I'm a
You
good
resonate,
person.
don't you, tech support?
Listen, you see his face? He's like, I remember that one time. Yeah, you just made him reminisce. Like, tech support. You want to talk about it? Oh, he don't
I'm
want to talk
sorry,
about it.
Mohazel's sister-in-law. I'm sorry. He gonna be calling you.
Vanessa. We love you. It was one of those things that maybe I had to learn about. I used to get really in my feelings like, listen, I'm out here trying to be a good person. I'm not perfect, but trying to be a good person. I don't maliciously try to hurt people. And if I hurt somebody, then I get it. That's shots fired. I deserve that. But if I wasn't, I would really take it personally. And I had to realize it's not. Even if they're making it personal, the process is not personal. And you have to just realize that everything is a step in the right direction to where you need to be.
And what another caveat that you learn with siblings, karma is awesome. Oh, my God. Karma is awesome.
I didn't learn that, obviously, with siblings, but I'm a firm believer of karma. I'm definitely a firm believer in karma. And you know what's so funny? Speaking of karma, just in any arena where you have to put your best foot forward, right? And kind of bite your tongue sometimes, right? It used to bother me when I would see people do stuff, and then it seemed like the universe has a beautiful way of letting you, even if you don't see it, it comes around to where you know what happened to the person who did you dirty.
Yes.
Like if you just stay the straight path, it's so worth it.
It may be 20 years down the road, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it to know that you not putting that hate in your heart and coming out of character and doing something that you shouldn't do to get back at that person. The universe took care of it for you. Yeah.
And I mean, I know we're petty, right? We joke and stuff, but we know when to turn a petty off.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So we know not to show out to block blessings.
No, I try not to.
I'm not saying we're perfect. I'm sure, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm sure there's a once upon a time. I told you we had that Petty in the Office episode. Y'all need to binge that. That was a good episode. But so I won't say that I haven't not been petty, but I learned. And then when I got older, I definitely knocked that out. I mean, or at least the petty I was in my 20s is definitely milder now in my 30s. I'm pretty good with being petty. I don't think I am petty, especially in my current situation. I like my current situation. The other question I was going to ask you is in regard to now, because I feel like with blessings, it's all about signs. And I think when we were younger, we might have just ignored it. Do you feel like there's some type of sign that you have tapped into now in your 30s? Or what is it like to recognize when you see blessings in front of you? What's the difference now that you are on the better side?
For me in my 30s, what I've realized is everything is an opportunity where everything is, future growth, future opportunity. Where in my 20s, it was more like this, and this, more hard of, when a position is open up and you want to jump, or, they're giving out raises, or, recognition. I think in my 30s, I've learned that each and every day is an opportunity for a blessing, because you never know where angle is going to come from. Because sometimes blessings have come, I didn't even know what I've done. Like, it was something I would normally do, but this random person feels that they need to, recognize me for something that I do day in and day out.
Sure.
And because of that, now I'm getting recognized, monetary reward, or just this is, spotlight on you, or even just a thank you, or that connection of, oh, by the way, she did this big thing for me, which for me, it wasn't that big. Let me introduce you to so-and-so, who then opens up further doors.
Sure.
I realized that everything is
speaking to you.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So always carry yourself like you want others to see you, because
Sure.
you never know what opportunity.
Who's going to put you on?
Yes.
You know, for me, I was always a firm believer of when you grind, it'll come, right? So I always kept my nose down and in the books or in the work, right? I would always just be like grinding and grinding and grinding. And I had to realize in my 30s, that's a part of it. It's a big part of it, but it's only a part of it. You have to look up, and you have to realize that looking down and keeping low and keeping a low profile, but you're hitting the numbers, you may not get seen.
Yeah.
You may not get seen. And sometimes you have to be willing to toot your horn humbly, and you have to be able to look up from the work, fellowship, because it gets heard and people will put you on.
Yeah.
I had to learn that, you know, because I always thought if I just work hard, the work will speak for itself. It will, but you have to tell people about the work that you're doing.
Exactly.
I didn't realize that was a missing piece. And it just took longer. But when I learned to speak up, it came sooner.
Yeah. When I was getting my master's, I had a teacher, Linda Culla. I know I'm saying really, I'm saying her name all the way wrong. I'm so sorry. But she wrote a book, How to Brown Nose 101.
Oh, I do remember. Yes.
And
thank you for that.
And honestly, that's where I learned that lesson of, because I was like, brown nose, who wants a brown nose?
It took me a while to read that book too, because I'm like, what you trying to get me to read? I don't do that.
But yeah. But once I read it, it made so much sense, because all it says is when you do good work, but no one knows it, you didn't do good work.
Right.
How to successfully toot your horn without tooting your horn is basically what that book is.
And pretty much what I just said came from that. Absolutely. I do remember that book. Thank you. Thank you, bestie. And please, can we possibly put that on social media? I'll put it in my notes to put on social media. I think that's a great book.
Yes.
If you're in your 20s or something, don't get caught up in the title. Really read it. It's so worth it. Because I mean, it took me a minute. And the only reason why I even picked up the book is because you already read it, and I'm like, well, if she read it, I can just kick her ass if it's wrong. You know what I mean? But I was grateful that I read it. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't steer me wrong. I think it's a great book to
it's practical.
Read with your girlfriends and then talk about it, because we talked about it. You know what I mean? And we still talk about it. Like, we don't even necessarily have to bring up the book aspect, but you can tell the principles from it is still applying to our life to this day. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Because we're a generation of our own, right? We're a generation of our own. I mean, I know me and you are different. You know, that era, we still come from an era where there's a lot of similarities, these 80s babies. My question to you is, when the newer generations are looking to us, because we're old enough to be those mentors, what do you think?
I know. I'm not playing.
When you're talking to your niece.
To her, I'm ancient.
You know, but I mean, like, when we're talking to these younger generations, what is it that we can instill in them? What do you think would be the right words to say to them to get them to not experience some of the physical heartaches that we experience from block blessings in our 20s?
Honestly, I don't try to prevent the heartaches as much as I want to. I think I've learned, or maybe it's the selfish part of me, I'd rather her experience it, the ones that I know she's going to experience in life, with me by her side while she's in, you know, my house, her mom's house, where we are there to guide her through, than her to be out on her own and experience it where she can't cuddle up with us and cry. You know, so, you know, as much as I'm like, I don't want her to have her first heartbreak, you know, I don't want her to have a boyfriend and stuff like that. And honestly, she don't listen to this podcast, she ain't allowed. I do want her to experience that when she's younger, because, you know, a broken heart at 14, 15 is a lot different than experience your first heartache at 20, 21.
Absolutely.
Because if you experience it at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, you know, in your teens, when you in your mama house, you got your mama or your auntie or, you know, your godmama or your whoever who you can curl up and cry to and go, but, and then you're able to, it gets better.
Sure.
But when you 21, 22, that hits different. The things that you've been through and how you've coped, you haven't experienced that. So you don't even know how to cope.
Right.
and you're by yourself.
Right.
You know, and yeah, I'm not saying you can't call up mama, but that's different than you being home with mama day in and day out. Plus, when you're in your 20s, you know, you feel like, I don't want to go crying to my mom. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And then your best friends who have maybe experienced it a time or two before don't resonate how hard it may hit you because this is your first time.
Yeah.
I am selfish in that I do want her to have those heartaches, those life disappointments where she can see the bounce back when she's home and secure and safe in that cocoon than when she's out as a butterfly.
Right. That's good stuff. I agree. I'll say for me, in regard to, I think one of the coolest parts about being in my 20s is I'm not saying that every single time I took the advice, but there is a blessing to, especially when you're in your 20s and in your teens, you don't have to have a mentor. I'm just saying, while you're surrounding yourself with all these voices, whether it's your friends, your little friends and things like that, surround yourself with older voices. I'm not saying you're going to listen
Positive,
to them. Yes, voices. Exactly. Yes, correct me. Positive, 100%. They got to be positive, not negative energy. But when you surround yourself with older, positive voices, even if you're like thinking you're invincible and thinking, I know what I got to do, you're going to remember it when you fall.
Yes.
And that advice is going, like you said, hit different. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely implore young people especially when you're old enough to be out on your own. And, I'm not saying you're still hanging out with your high school friends. Maybe you have a brand new set of friends because you're in college now, or you're an adult, or your job or whatever. When you're working and when you're meeting people, don't regret to make friends with some of these older people too, because you'd be surprised that positive energy grown-ups will look after you as if they were your own kids sometimes, at least with the advice. They may not help you. Don't call them if your car broke on the side of the road. They ain't getting out their bed for you. But, if you're sitting in that break room and you're talking about something that happened, they might give you some advice and you might ignore it. But later on, you might remember that and you be like, dang, she was right. Mm-hmm. And you need something, because sometimes we don't get that in classrooms. We don't get that. And sometimes we have to get that from real life experiences. And sometimes people have been there and done that, and it'll help you.
They give you that hope.
They do.
And sometimes that little bit of hope is all you need to make it over that hump to get the blessing that was destined for you.
Yep. Now let me ask you one more question. In regard to older people being in your life, what was some of the best advice you were given, whether you took it or not? But now that you're older, you're like, yeah, that was a gem. I was sitting on a gem.
I don't know if it's one piece of advice. Like, my grandmother is my heart. And it's funny because I swear I am her. I am her with her stubborn, her mouth, all of it. And when I was growing up, me and her bumped heads. She'll tell you. She ain't like me. 16 me and her, she ain't like me. She always loved me, but 16 me was about to die. But as I got older and as I appreciated her more, just her wisdom more and more, and understood where she was coming from, because she's the only reason why I have even a smidge of discipline. Without her, God knows where I would be.
Sure.
She was one who... She always had those funny sayings, those little country sayings that always stuck with me. I love country
sayings, for the record.
So, when people get mad at you or whatever, she was the one, scratch your ass, you'll get glad. It just used to trip me out. Where you got that from? So,
that's the advice? That's the one? No,
honestly, that's the one, it's not that I care what people think. I don't like being represented wrong. Mm-hmm. So when people would get mad at me for things I didn't do, that would hit me hard, because then I would be trying to prove that I didn't do it.
Are you over-proving that, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Scratch your ass, you'll get glad. Bye. So, that's why I say it sticks with me.
I received that.
Because at the end of the day, it boiled down to, if they truly are my friend, if they truly know me, they know what I'm capable of and not capable of.
Sure.
They will come to me and ask the question versus readily believe what they're hearing out of third party's mouth. So at the end of the day, if you are believing without evidence and proof, or even if you have all the evidence and proof and you didn't come to me to ask the question,
right,
scratch your ass, you get glad.
Yeah, fair enough. So me in that regard, I think some of the best advice.
Random old ladies who come and talk to you, because I swear, random old people just talk to her. Just always talk to her.
Listen, you know what's so funny? I think that's because when I was a kid, I didn't like younger kids. Like my younger cousins, I mean, I hang with them, but we would get into it sometimes because I always wanted to be with the older. I always wanted to be with the older. And that kind of bled into my adult life. I tend to like older because they're supposed to be less dramaful. I'm not saying they aren't.
Supposed to be.
Supposedly. You know, especially when you're dealing when you're 20s.
Yeah.
All the 20-year-olds is just drama. This person broke up, this. And the older people just sitting and chilling like, girl, scratch your ass, you'll get glad. No, I'm just saying. But, you know, I mean, they kind of had that attitude.
Have
you know what I mean?
Before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it. Yeah. I always kind of hung out a lot with older people. But no, it was honestly, I'm going to be 100%. I used to get therapy in my music. And it was always told, like, if words can't speak to you, just go to music. So I'd always kind of zen out. And I had to learn, maybe it is from, you know, church folks and family members, but they would always put you on church music and their whole attitudes would light up, would it not? And I'm not saying it necessarily has to be church music, but there is something to church music, especially when you're going through it. Oh my goodness.
It speaks to you.
It does speak to you. But I'm just saying music in general, sometimes when I just, instead of talking, because sometimes talking isn't going to fix anything and you're going to say stuff. So it really is talk less. It really is. But
smell more.
Yes, you know, listen, I'm trying not to do that all season, but
sick.
But shout out to Hamilton. But no, really listening to music will keep you from putting your foot in your mouth.
Is that why you're a music head?
I'm so a music head for that reason. I learned to be quiet a lot more when I needed to be, when I really needed to be, and it kept me out of trouble.
Tech support. When the music's blasting when you get home, do you know what type of mood Mohazel's in?
Yeah.
So you know when to go back outside and be like, so I'll be back home later?
I don't think I'm bad. But he knows. I have music for different reasons. But yeah, like, okay, when I was in my 20s.
When she playing.
Stop.
Don't take it personal.
Don't answer that tech support.
Yeah.
Don't answer that.
Don't take it
I've never played that one. Never played that one. But no, but I would. Because I was one of those teenagers that would always be having a chip on my shoulder.
Did you do that to your parents? Would you be playing music like, I can't say what I really say? Play.
No.
Were you that kid?
I wasn't that kid. I probably said it. I'm sure I gave my parents many a headache. No, I said it. That's the problem. I said it. But now that's the thing. My parents still love you unconditionally, right?
Yes.
But when you get in that real world, they ain't got to like you. And so I had to learn, and I had to just realize that's what music is there for. That's the purpose and the beauty of music. It keeps me out of trouble. When I'm at work and I'm not good, bad, whatever, I always keep listen, babies, listen, whether you like your job or not, keep you a good set of headphones because that music will keep you out of trouble. It'll keep you grinding at your work and not talking.
I'm having an aha
moment. But
it
also keeps you out of trouble from hearing crazy people, and it also keeps you out of trouble from saying stuff that could get you in trouble.
I'm having an aha moment. So back in the day, let's go back. Let's go down this rabbit hole.
Time.
In the day.
Back in the
Mohazel used to make the most awesome break up mixtapes.
And you know what? Can I say something to that?
Awesome.
Can I say something to that? That was to put me in a good mood.
Awesome.
Can I tell you why? Real talk. If I was listening to sad songs, I mean, really sad songs. I mean, you know, they're like sad song, like, dang, what's going on? I'd be like, well, my life ain't as bad as that person. So it always put me in a good mood. It literally would cheer me up. Sad music would cheer me up. So if you hear me with a sad song or even male hate music, that always put me in a good mood.
Like, no, let me explain these mixtapes. So, or CDs, because we ain't from the mixtape era.
Why are you talking?
So
Let
much.
me find a rabbit hole for you.
Listen. So
ahead.
it would take you on a journey. You would feel that sadness.
You would.
You'd feel that rage.
All of it.
It'd take you through the
Every
whole
genre.
spectrum.
Every genre.
The whole
Every
spectrum
genre.
of your breakup in one CD.
Oh, wait. Did you do? Oh, you know what? Did I? Oh, you know what? That's funny. So the same mixes. I feel you. So I listen to it to make me, like, maybe if I'm having a gloomy day and I want to be cheered up, it would cheer me up. I would give it to people if they were going through stuff, so that way they could just get through stuff. Because sometimes music will tell you what you need and what you're going through right at that moment to recognize it, to get to a better place. I would give it away so people could heal from relationships. I listened to it because I was just having a crappy day and I just wanted to feel better. And if Jolene, no, I'm just playing. But any music, it could be Alanis Morissette, it could be Monica, it could be whatever, because I was all over the place with my music. If they were having a crappy day, my day got better because it wasn't as bad as their day. That's how I felt. That's
honestly,
why I did.
And what I say is, like, and when I say breakup CDs, it was just because most of the time it was like male bashing music. But
it was. I had some hits.
But when I tell you the whole CD was fire. And it took you from one spectrum to, like, you weren't pausing the CD. You went from one spectrum to the end.
It would make
but by the time you were through with the CD, you were feeling like the burden was lifted.
It was making you feel like, if you got into that next relationship, they gonna see how good you feel. That's the other thing too. You know what else I learned? Happiness is sometimes the best revenge. Happiness is the best, like, especially when it comes to, like, leaving out of situations and you're unsure if it's a blessing or not.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to the other side and you realize how happy you are, you realize that you went through a door, and on the other side of the door that you just left from was hell.
Yes.
It was hell.
Honestly,
it was
like,
hell.
You don't realize when you're mourning the end of something, you don't realize how, not necessarily I don't want to use the word unhappy, because you may not have been unhappy, but how not happy you were.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
So you thought you were happy until you open that next door and go, well, god dang, this is happiness. Because that was, okay. So, like, and I have learned that mine is more of a control thing. Like, I refuse to let people have power over me. So, in not letting people have power over me, my happiness comes from within. I can't rely on someone else to make me happy. Now, they can enhance that happiness.
Sure.
And, make me smile more and things like that.
Positive vibes.
But I refuse to give someone power to decrease my happiness level or affect my true energy.
Got it.
In that sense, I try to, if someone's having a bad day and their energy is draining me, we need to, I'll see you later. Not because, like, especially if I'm trying to help and you just not receiving, okay, that's my cue to call me when you need me.
Yep.
Because it doesn't help when, because you have certain people who misery loves company.
100.
I cannot, like, we ain't gonna be miserable together. You
know how so different and so the same we are? Because I feel you on that, but my difference is, how you're saying you won't let anybody control your happiness. I won't let anybody diminish my value anymore. If you're joking, that's one thing. Like, how we go back and forth, but we know the real deal. But if you're really meaning that, I won't let you diminish my value anymore, because I know I'm awesome. I know that I have a purpose. I know I have a place in this world. And if someone has that much time to try to chip at my value, then that just says something about them.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I will refuse to play that game like how the young people say it. And we're the young people, because I'm sure we said it when we were younger. But, you ain't on until you have a hater. You ain't on until you have a hater. I like haters. I do. Every blue moon, I don't have time for it. It's tiring. But I will never appreciate the purpose of what a hater does.
It does motivate you. And I think for me, when I say, because I agree with you in terms of not letting people affect you. Like, I think in my teens and my 20s, I took it personal.
Yeah.
Their comments are personal to me.
Right.
What I realized in my 30s is, ain't got nothing to do with me.
It's about
it
them.
Would be someone else if I wasn't here.
Yep.
This is everything to do with them, their character, what they're going through has nothing to do with me.
How they were
so
raised,
when
all
I step out and say, this is not personal, now I can have a full-on conversation and my emotions aren't getting the best of me because this ain't even about me. So what really going on? Because what you're saying isn't true. And I hope to go back to your question of what I'm teaching, the younger generation.
Yeah, sure.
I hope that is something that I'm teaching my niece, is that when people make comments that are negative to you, like, it's one thing for constructive criticism, trying to make you better.
Sure.
But if it is negative, it feels negative. It feels vindictive.
It feels wrong.
It feels like that person is tearing you down.
Yep.
That has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them.
Right. Yeah, absolutely 100%. And another thing, and then we'll kind of wrap up, I'll say the whole, lead by example.
Yes.
Lead like you're, work. Now that we're older and we can be the leaders and be a mentor to a younger generation, you have to move like they're watching. Because sometimes they're not going to come up to you. And I'm not saying.
No.
It's true,
I
right?
agree.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm perfect.
No.
But
I side like that because Lord knows my niece picks up on my bad habits. I swear.
Yeah. And
you see how petty she
is.
You see how petty she is.
It's not a bad thing.
I'm not saying it is, but
tougher.
She is so petty.
She's ready for the world.
She be jabbing at me, and it be taking everything that I have not to backhand her.
But yeah, I definitely believe the whole, looking up to.
It's like looking in a mirror. Those younger generation, your niece, Niecey Poo.
Niecey Poo.
Your Niecey Poo.
Sure.
Do you see yourself in her eyes? Like when she, does she bring up your bad habits?
Here's what I love about my niece. She is so sassy. And I love it. Now, but I know I can be, so I give it right back to her. And you know what's so funny? I will say this. I'm going to pick on my niecey poo, but it's so cute. So I like to treat kids like adults, little mini adults. I say, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I don't care if they're 2 years old. If they like, I need water. Yes, ma'am. You know what I mean? I'm just that way, right? So I try to treat them like adults, and I try not to baby talk when they're old enough to talk. And so I used to, talk to her, hey, girlfriend, and, all this way. And then I would say something, and it would kind of be a little sassy, and she would just kind of go in a corner and be like, you hurt my feelings, auntie. And I'm like, as an adult, you would have been like, ha, that's not funny. But I did like twice, and then I realized I'm like, she's not ready for my humor. I used to say that to my sister. She's not ready for my humor. And then one day when she was old enough and she got it, it made me cry a little. I'm like, did she just chat? She's so sassy. She's learning it from Disney, though. She's learning it from these Disney shows. I can't take full credit for all this. And the women in our family, we're all sassy, so I'm sure she picked up a little from all of us, but I can't take credit like that. But these Disney shows, I'm like, where you get that from? And then I'd be seeing, I'm like, dang, they were not sassy when we were that age. It was a little bit different. But I love the sass only because it gives her character. Mm-hmm. So I welcome the bad habits.
But do you see her? Do you see how she sees you? And sometimes make you want to be, I need to do better on that.
Yeah. She questions things. She'll instantly see you do something and she wants to know why you did it that way. I'm not saying she'll do it. Like, I don't know if I've physically seen her copy me, but if she sees you doing something wrong, she has no problem being like, well, why'd you do it like that? Well, why'd you do it? Well, why? And, she's old enough to process, so you can't be like, because I said so, girl, get out my face. You can't do that, because she'll be like, oh, okay, and she'll never come to you again. So I have to be honest with her. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, oh, see, listen, see what happened is, Uncle Tech Support, you got this,
He made me do it.
But you have to kind of break it down, because I know I am being watched. And so it makes me try harder, because I know I have that audience. Yeah. And it makes me accountable.
It's that responsibility. It's a heavy responsibility.
Absolutely. What's the moral of Blessings Learned? What is the one aha that you want to end with, my darling?
Scratch your ass, you'll get glad.
Oh, Lord.
Perfectly sums it up, don't you think?
I got nothing. We're going to end on with that. All right, moving on. Are you ready for Petty Word of the Day?
Yes, I am.
All right, Petty Word of the Day. So we take a pretty word out the dictionary and we learn it, absorb it, and then we put it in pretty sentences, because we're trying to teach it to all of you out there in the land. With that being said, Ms. Glam, you're up first.
So my word, and I promise I did not plan this at all. You did not know my word, right?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay.
I promise.
So my word this week
Scratch your ass so you don't get glad?
No. Hotsy-totsy, and it's an adjective.
Girl, we making t-shirts. I don't even know what it is. Hotsy-totsy.
And it means comfortably stable or secure or perfect.
I don't know why it sounded like someone who just is very content with being like dirty. Like lazy and dirty perfect. In the house.
Hotsy-totsy. Perfect. Just right. All right. We are, me and you, Mohazel and Ms.Glam. We are 20 years deep in this friendship game, and I now have the perfect word to describe our journey. Hotsy-totsy.
Aww. We have to have green shirts.
That say hotsy-totsy?
That say hotsy-totsy. That's what's up.
Merch.
I received that. merch. Merch coming soon. Girl, I don't know. Listen, if we get 50 followers, merch is going down, because I need at least 3 of y'all to pay a month, and then we straight. So my word, insouciant. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. Insouciant. It's an adjective. Free from worry, concern, or anxiety. My sentence. The older I get, I realize that I want to live my life in an insouciant state. So I am blocking all you negative bitches. Which went with the show. I was trying to do the lesson learned of what I learned in my 30s. So that was my petty word. Aww.
And see, I must not be negative since I stuck around.
See? No, I'm serious. No, I mean, listen, here's the thing. And then we'll kind of end the show on this. I don't think petty is a bad thing as long as you and your buddy are on the same page. And as long as petty is, like for me, petty is meant to keep us scrappy. Petty is meant to, it's almost like, I know you say, you get mad because I say play sister, but it's almost like having a sister that I didn't have as a kid, in the sense of keeping me scrappy and ready for the world. You know what I mean? Like, if I can handle your jabs, then I know I can handle anybody's jabs.
Yeah.
And it's to kind of toughen you up, and it's almost like protecting you. It's almost like I'm going in the boxing ring, but I'm going in the boxing ring practicing. You know what I mean? And when you're practicing, you're in a safe space. And when you're practicing, you're with your coach or your sparring partner. You know what I mean? People that you connect with and you get close with and you build friendship with and you build family with. So I feel like I'm in my petty game is with my sparring partner, which is you. And then I'm ready to knock anybody out.
Yeah.
When it's time to go in that ring. And so I don't think petty friendships should be any less dogged out than friendships that are, as beautiful as, say, the people who came on our first season, Vanessa and Asha, where they talk in a very loving way. It's just their love song. I think our love song is different because maybe we're Northerners and, it's just that way you talk. But I think at the end of the day, deep down, we know it comes from a place of love and we always root for each other. And when and believe it or not, when bad things are going down, we're never petty.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like if you're going through a bad day, then I can be loving. You know what I mean? And the same thing with you. If I'm like, listen, I don't need this. I don't need this today.
Don't be telling people my secrets.
Put the petty in your back pocket.
Not
you
nice
do.
Ever.
No, she's not. Not to y'all, but to me. I'll receive that. Otherwise, she wouldn't be around. I'm being honest. She gives me both, and I'm okay with that. I 100% receive the person that I have right beside me right now.
Aww.
All right. With that being said, do you have anything less to say, Sugar Plum?
Until next time.
And we are out.